it seems reasonable to paraphrase that gospel as such. Sometimes we get off to a slow start in life with respect to our relationship with God, but people stick with it, and eventually they make up for lost time and earlier mistakes. And that's good. God wants us to stick with it. That is worthwhile. He smiles upon us when we do that. And yeah, it hurts. It hurts when we feel like we got off to such a bad start that we will never catch up. But God doesn't work like that. He always wants us to go forward in life in the right direction, and that is always possible. But on the other hand, we also have that second son in the gospel, the one that started off obedient but quit before the end. That also is possible. Sometimes we have it so easy in life at the beginning that we cease to make progress in life. In serious cases, we can actually end up undoing our earlier progress, and we end up even farther from God than at the start. So it can be tricky like that. Think of it like this. God is the center of the universe. So we'll represent that by the monstrance. And yes, I know it's not the center of the altar. That's for clarity in a couple of minutes. Don't worry about that. So the monstrance represents God, center of the universe. And for the record, there is no Eucharist in the monstrance. It's just a prop for today. What I actually wanted to do was I actually wanted to get a nice, powerful flashlight so a literal beam of light would be shooting from this thing. That didn't work out. So I'm asking you to pretend that there is light shining from the monstrance at all angles, which is why a monstrance is shaped like that in the first place. So that's an easy thing for me to ask you to imagine. So there's light shooting out. It's like a beacon. It's like the star that led the 3 wise men to Bethlehem. No matter where you are in life, you can always turn yourself and point toward God, or you can turn completely away from God and face the opposite direction. And of course, there are many, many angles in between where you're either mostly facing God or mostly facing away from God. All of that's possible. So no matter where you are in life, no matter how close you may be to God, your direction is the primary thing that will determine what happens next in life. Where are you pointed? So in that context, that first son, the one compared to tax collectors and prostitutes, that is someone that is starting off facing completely away from Christ and is walking farther and farther away from God. And supposedly, he actually gets a pretty impressive distance before eventually, for whatever reason, he manages to turn around. So at the end of the day, he's facing God. He can see him. He can bathe in that powerful light. He can be guided by that beacon of the Holy Spirit. So even though he has quite a ways to go, he knows where he's going in life because he's got that guiding light. The point being far from God, but still able to see him, that's not so bad. God can work with that. That second son is like someone who starts off with a pretty good angle. So I'm aiming to my chair for those of you that can't exactly see where I'm pointed. Pretty good angle, not perfect. Not perfect, but it's a good angle. So the second son, he's making progress. He's closing the distance between him and God. But the problem is, at no point in his spiritual journey is he willing to adjust his aim. So that necessary change we kind of need to have right now, he's not willing to do that. He said he'd be obedient, but he's not actually following through. More than anybody else in life, this reminds me of an adult with a child's faith. Because when you're a child with a child's faith, that's good. That's how it's supposed to work. But your faith is supposed to grow and develop because you as a person grow and develop. Eventually, you need to readjust to be more perfectly aligned with Christ. This second son, that's a little too much for him to manage. He figures, I've done well enough up to now, I'm going to keep doing my thing. So someone with that attitude, what happens? Well, eventually God passes them right by. And now, every step he takes is one further step into darkness. Pretend he can walk through the wall, by the way. And at this point, he doesn't even know where he's going because he can't see the light of God anymore. And of course, God is still there. God can see him just fine. If I did get my hands on an industrial strength flashlight, that light of God would be beaming right into the small of my back. But the light of a guiding star doesn't do you very much good if you're facing away from it. So this person is not going to progress in life. He's not going to feel like God is answering his prayers until he manages to turn around and look at God and see him. He needs to literally change his ways. The first son does that. The second son does not. The first son started off pretty rocky, but he made a necessary change. He turned toward God, and that makes it more or less okay. The second son does not change. He starts off obedient, but he does not go the distance. That is like someone who starts off pointed toward God, but doesn't even realize it when he passes him right by. So in life, be sure you are looking toward Christ for direction, no matter where you are in life, and no matter how far Christ may seem to be. You can always change your ways, change your direction, and gaze upon Christ for guidance, truth, and grace.